Nice seeing you again, man.
Yes,
Super
sir.
glad we get to talk again, bro. I know we spoke a few months back. Spoke to you last year, literally.
Yeah, yeah.
Different
Feels so
time.
long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
man.
2021 is it's been beautiful so far. Really going in with the script that I'm working on that I told you about last time. Just
Hmm.
really getting that story, you know, as good as it possibly could get. And then just staying ready, man. Just staying ready, health wise, body wise, diet wise, just everything. Just trying to keep sharp.
Yeah, man. I know we still got the residual effect from last year. Things are still not completely back to normal. It's still an adjustment. But again, congrats on nurses. Congrats on the season. The work that y'all are putting
Thank you.
out, really phenomenal, bro. I was talking to Tiara yesterday. Was just asking what it was like to wrap the season. Well, what emotionally, what's that process like? You put in the time, you put in the effort, you build this bond. You can only hope, that you get
Right,
signed on for another season, right?
right.
So what's that like bringing that to a close at the end of the season with your peoples, and then you got to say your bittersweet farewells?
Yeah. Great question. I think the first season it was tough. Again, because we had this camaraderie, that we shared because it was all of our first like starring roles on like a network TV show. So when it was finished, I know Donald, it was very hard for him because a lot of us, I was going back to LA and the girls were going back to Vancouver. So Donald was the only one that was staying in Toronto. So he said it was very lonely, and I think that first season I just wanted to get back to LA because I was tired of the cold and I'm from Toronto, so I just wanted to get out of the cold. And then the second season though it was oh man, it was like I I was like crying, yearning to be back with my work family. It was insane. I've never felt that connection with a group of people in my entire life outside of my family, and that was the first time that's ever happened.
When we were talking about season one, um, we were talking about how organic the chemistry was between y'all, and then you doubled down on that. You know what I mean? With the next season, and we're gonna get that a season finale in the states. I think tonight for season one.
Tonight, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
folks
yeah.
are turning up for that. What can you tell me you've learned about Keon, at this point? What
Wow.
are some things that have surprised you about him? Maybe some things that you're really taken aback by.
Watching it a second time, you really do see different things that you didn't really notice that you were presenting when you were filming it, and then you see it back, the first run, and it's like, okay, that's dope, that's good work, solid work, and then you see it again. And I think what Keon learned was like how to be a friend. And I say that because in episode 8, episode 7, Grace's character kind of reveals what has been going on and what she's been hiding and why she left her previous job. And I think Keon learned how to be a better friend and learning to listen. And even though he had the best intentions in mind, sometimes it's someone else's responsibility or their decision to like, you know, go forth and do something that, they might be holding back on, if that makes any sense. So I think Keon just learned to listen and be a better friend, and know that you want to be as supportive. You will be as supportive as you could without kind of pressuring anybody to do anything or say anything that they might not be ready to do at that time. So yeah,
No, that makes loads of sense, and I think you
yeah,
being able to sit with that character and grapple and grow with him is also enlightening you in ways that I'm sure again would be surprising. What's that? What are some things that you learned or you picked up on having been in this season, in this process for as long as you've been now? Like maybe as an actor from a craft point of view, you had a very normal atmosphere to work in at the beginning, and then the pandemic hits and things get a little strange, and then things get really out of hand. Um, But from a craft point of view, as an actor, what are you looking back on in terms of lessons throughout this entire experience?
I think I've sorry, it's like hella hot in San Diego right now, man. I think I learned how to not miss moments. I think throughout my career, there were times where it was like a small scene, and I was like, I don't got to do as much work on this one. I know the character. And my acting coach, if you saw this, he'd be like punching me in my chest right now, because there's no such thing as a small scene. And I think I started discovering that. I remember this movie I saw with Gene Hackman, and it was like, I think it was Runaway Jury, and he was in the back seat, and it was just, I think he had like one line, but that one line was so powerful, and it didn't hit me until I was filming Nurses, and understanding that each and every moment, even if it's not my episode, it's all just a part of this journey that needs to be encompassed visually, so that the audience can be pulled in, and it's not like there's no moments off. It's just, that's what I've learned. Like, there's no takes off, no moments off. Every time needs to be new, and it needs to shock you into doing great choices and compelling work.
It leads me to my next question about, like, whether or not you found it difficult to I guess, like, hang up Keon, right? To just put Keon away because cut already happened. I asked,
Right.
I was telling Tiara yesterday that nurses, the real nurses, there's no cut. You know what I'm saying? So, like, being
Right.
in that headspace, remaining to be committed, what's that like? You know?
Right. I know we're talking about the first season. I felt that more on the second season. The first
Mm-hmm.
season, it was more of like, I did everything I could. I took the assignment. I did the prep. I did what I had to do, and I think I was good with just leaving it, and just seeing what the work would turn out to be. But as you said, with Nurses, the work doesn't stop. So I quickly found that I was finding more information as the season went on, and I would follow different blogs from nursing communities, and just little tidbits that I would collect, and I would take screenshots and study it, way before season 2 started filming. And it was just little things like that I started noticing in myself. Like, there was always a curiosity that I needed to fulfill.
And again, that just comes out when folks aren't really committed to roles. You've seen movies where folks were probably just, tapped out, or maybe just not engaged with their
Right.
character. But
Right. And
y'all really
I
are your
didn't want
folks.
that with my work.
Oh, not at all, man. Y'all really inherit the living space of these characters, who, I don't like to use the word characters, because y'all treat them as people, as living, breathing
Yes.
humans. And I think
Yes.
when you're playing these healthcare workers, it's hard to not do that. It's difficult to not
Right.
be the human who's doing these very human tasks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
what about your hopes for Keon? What are some maybe goals, dreams, aspirations? I mean, obviously you don't have to get specific, because we got a lot of spoilers in that. But what are some of your, like, overall sort of general hopes for Keon? Your well wishes for him, like, in future seasons, because those are definitely going to come.
I thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I just want to say again, publicly, yo, last interview was one of the best interviews I've ever had. So I wanted to just go on record one time and say thank you again for that.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. But for Keon, I think as a nurse, he wants to get to the highest level of nursing possible. And that's having a doctorate of nursing. And that is something that, as Jordan, the person, I always try to go for the best. And it's not always the most glamorous route, but the rewards are life changing, right? So I think career wise, that's what Keon wants to strive for, is to be the best. As he was with football, he wants to be the best nurse that he could be. And then interpersonally, like, just relationship wise, as I mentioned before, like, just being a better friend, being more available, and not shutting out the other nurses, and just being there for everybody, and also being there for himself, because sometimes he takes on that energy, or that negativity, or and he doesn't know how to release it. And again, not trying to do any spoilers, but season 2, I really tried to hone in on that, man. I really tried to show that struggle that he was going through. And a lot of real nurses and like, first time nurses, new nurses go through that a lot. They struggle and they have severe anxiety. And these are things that I started, I learned this just a couple of weeks ago when I was doing an interview with Operation Happy Nurse. It was just informative and really game changing for the just getting into the role for now and moving forward.
Thinking about Jordan and how Jordan approaches relationships, friendships, interpersonal interactions, does that come naturally for you, or do you often feel like Keon sometimes like shutting people out, or is it sort of like an in between? Because I'm hella extrovert, so if I had to play a character who might be a little more to themselves, I would find that so challenging. You know what I'm saying? So like, what's that like? What's that dance like for you? What does that look like?
Well, for me, I think I'm an ambivert, but I think I'm more of an introvert, and I've always been like that. So playing someone like Keon, it's easy to kind of get back into your normal habits as a person and be like, okay, these are the choices that I'm going to make because this is what Jordan would do, and this is Keon, and so it's trying to find those dualities and finding those moments where you can be like, no, this is completely different than what I expected or that anybody expected for Keon to go in this direction. So I just think like just growth. He just wants to grow. He just wants to keep growing. That's all it is. He just wants to keep growing as a person.
Right, and that I think that's the universal, the human aspect that you can tap into. If you could, I was thinking about this too, because I'm like, if you could go back and sort of have a conversation with your amateur self, this Jordan who is just starting out, right, with all the knowledge, the resume that you've built, and the identity and personality you've established for yourself, what would be that one piece of advice you would like to impart on your younger self, just to help you through those times where you're like, damn, like what's going on? What am I doing? You know what I'm saying?
Wow. You work on these questions for so long, growing up as a kid, growing up as an actor, you joke around with these questions, and now I'm asking, like, you're asking these things for real. I just be like, man, Jordan, just keep going, man. I know it doesn't look like it's gonna change. I know you're broke right now. I know you're struggling right now. I know nobody understands why you're pushing and you don't hang out with anybody because you don't have money to hang out. Like just keep going. And when it starts picking up, I think the people that really love and support you, they're gonna be there the same way they were when you weren't popping. And then the people that weren't there for you, I think that is something that has been kind of a struggle for me, is kind of like, I don't want to cry, but like friends that I came up with in the game, man, it's like it's a lot that you kind of just, something, the egos, man. It's like a very competitive world. So I feel like that is, sorry, the camera is messing up. I think that was one of the things that I tell the younger Jordan to prepare for, is like, man, just be ready for that. Like, it's not anything you've necessarily done. It's just people's egos can be hurt, and how they react to that is not on you. So just be ready for that. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's literally what I would tell my younger self, or anybody coming up in this game.
That makes all the sense in the world, man. And I expected no less an answer coming from someone like yourself. And again, the up and comers who are seeing your work and seeing what you've been through and what you continue to do and what you continue to strive to accomplish. I mean, it'll inspire folks. I mean, you inspire me. So I appreciate it. I was super glad that we got to talk again today. I'm looking forward to all the good stuff coming up.
Wow.
And I know for sure, like I said, brother, you got seasons coming, you got all the good stuff coming your way.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. Be careful out there. I know it's hot as hell.
I know. I'm hot, man. I'm trying to like keep cool. I'm trying to but it's beaten down. It's beaten down.
Go, man. I got you, brother. Look, you take care of yourself. I know for sure we're gonna talk in the future, bro. And keep doing great things, brother.
Jamal, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it, homie. Take care.